Right, guys, welcome back to another video. So 2023 has been an absolutely phenomenal year for fighting games. Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6, and when it comes to Xbox specifically, they don't really have any first parties out there that are making games for Game Pass in the fighting genre. It's something that I think they should definitely look into. One of those studios that I think would be a great match for Xbox to eventually go out and get would be Iron Galaxy, because they are the ones that made Killer Instinct, a game that launched with the 2013 Xbox One. And interestingly enough, they had their 10-year stream yesterday, which was, again, the release date of the Xbox One, where we got a bunch of new information about the upcoming update to Killer Instinct, and it's super cool to see this game coming back. A game that some people still play. I mean, I jump in there every once in a while, but when it did launch on the Xbox One, I thought it was a phenomenal game and one of the highlights of the Xbox's release. And then it kind of went away, and I was hoping eventually we would get a Killer Instinct 2 or something, where they would be releasing it with the current generation of consoles. Now, that isn't this, but it is still a very nice update that we are going to be getting, which I think is going to really revitalize this game during a time where we're seeing a huge surge here in the fighting game genre. So Iron Galaxy had their 10-year stream. They went over a ton of stuff here, specifically going in depth into each character and the nerfs and the buffs and changes that they are doing with these characters. I'm not going to go over those just because there's so many, but definitely take a look for that if you want to see how every character is changing with improvements or the nerfs that they are getting just to make the overall gameplay better. Now, here is some other cool things, though, that they did announce. There's going to be a brand new color scheme for this upcoming season, this upcoming Killer Instinct, which is Killer Instinct Gold look-alike here with the purple and the gold here. You can see the picture of it. I think it looks great. I love gold. I love purple. That mixture I think looks pretty awesome. So very nice what they're doing here with the color scheme. Now, the Killer Instinct Definitive Edition is going to officially be replaced by the Killer Instinct Anniversary Edition. That's going to have a bunch of changes, like I said, with all of the different changes to the characters. And Steam is going to be getting a free-to-play version of this game, just like on Xbox and on Windows 10. And one of the changes here is that they will be rotating characters weekly now instead of bi-weekly, so a higher chance to go out there and try all of the different characters. There's also going to be some tweaked UI, which I think is cool because obviously UI changes pretty rapidly. Stuff becomes more modern, and they're going to be doing that now to make it look better for modern displays, because this game did come out 10 years ago. So then they went over all of the nerfs and everything. But if you're looking just specifically what this game comes with, what the changes, how much it costs, all of that type of stuff, this is what we know. So the KI Definitive Edition, like I said, is being replaced by the Anniversary Edition. And if you do want to purchase this game, it is going to be $30. However, if you already own the KI Definitive Edition, it will be a free upgrade to the Killer Instinct Anniversary Edition. And right now, if you were to go out and buy the Killer Instinct Definitive Edition, it is $13 on the Xbox store. So you may want to just go and buy that now, start playing it, get accustomed to the game, because it'll be cheaper to purchase that than wait for the actual Anniversary Edition to drop, which we do not have a release date yet. They did not give us that, but they did say that it is currently in the final testing. So I'm expecting this to be out relatively soon. Now, what is also awesome is that Killer Instinct's in Xbox Game Pass. If you're an Xbox Game Pass member, that game is automatically as well getting updated to the Anniversary Edition. Now, there are some other cool things here with the Definitive Edition. Back in the day, they had the Definitive Edition app, and they also had the Killer Instinct Classics #1 and #2. And it looks like those will not be there with this Anniversary Edition. It says if you currently own the Definitive Edition, some mature rated content that is included will not be included with the KI Anniversary Edition. This includes the Definitive Edition standalone app with developer interviews, concept art, and the Killer Cuts soundtrack. And Xbox KI Classic 1 and 2 will also not be included in the Anniversary Edition. But players who own additional content for Killer Instinct Definitive Edition will be able to still download that content even after the game is retired. So there it is. They are bringing this game back. Upgraded visuals, 4K, all of that type of stuff, making it play better with the buffs and the nerfs and the changes to the characters. They're calling it an Anniversary Edition, and they're going to be releasing it for $30 when they eventually do give that release date. But again, if you're on Game Pass, you're going to get this thing for free. I can't wait. I can't wait to jump into this, to just see how it looks on a 4K TV. And it's, I always thought it was already a great looking game. It's really fast paced. I love all the colors. all that's going to look even better now. And I'm hoping this is going to revitalize the game. I hope it's going to bring a lot more players into it, some new players into it. I'm sure Xbox is going to do a lot of marketing for it. When it does come onto Xbox Game Pass, it'll be with those Tuesday announcements, and probably will be there when you go onto the Xbox dashboard with an ad or something to let people know that a new version of Killer Instinct is available. And it's great. It's great to have this in the Xbox portfolio into Xbox Game Pass. And hopefully this means if this does well, we will be seeing more Killer Instinct in the future for the Xbox platform and for PC. So cool stuff there. Awesome that we got this 10th anniversary stream on obviously the day that it released, which was with the launch of the Xbox One. Okay, let's talk about another game here where there are mixing reports over and over again as to if it is still in development, and that is Knights of the Old Republic. The other day we did hear from Jeff Grubb that the game really isn't being worked on right now. Now, this didn't mean that the game was canceled, but you could assume that if it is not being worked on, the likelihood that it isn't going to be coming out is pretty high, especially when it's under the Embracer Group. And we are seeing all of the bad stuff happening under the Embracer Group with the layoffs and cuts and games just being sold off, IPs being sold off, all of this type of stuff. The Embracer Group is not doing very well. And Knights of the Old Republic under them, I have zero hope for. I was hoping that it would actually be canceled and they just stopped working on it, because I don't believe that it is going to come out and be very good, and that's going to be very disappointing. I hope I'm absolutely wrong on that, because it looks like it actually now is still in development at Saber Interactive. This comes via Bloomberg and Jason Schreier, who shot down the recent comments from Jeff Grubb saying that the game is not being worked on right now. He says this: can't say whether the KOTOR remake will ever actually come out, but yes, two people from Saber Interactive tell me they're still on it despite recent rumors that nobody is working on the game. Saber took the project from Aspire last year, as Bloomberg reported then. So take that for what you will. It's not that reassuring that it will come out if you're somebody out there that is hoping that it does. But it looks like they haven't just completely abandoned the project, and there's still some sort of chance that this game will make its way out. It's been in development hell since they announced it. Got announced way too early, and then all of the stuff that happened after the announcement with Aspire and the writer that they had chosen for the game that had a lot of backlash, all of these things just ended up not working out. And we're at a place now where people are questioning whether we will ever see anything again here from the Knights of the Old Republic remake. Now, when it comes to Call of Duty, I know Modern Warfare 3 literally just dropped. So it's funny that we're already having exclusive information and leaks about the upcoming Call of Duty for 2024. But we have that information here. What's going to be very unique about this next Call of Duty is this will literally be the first real official one as an Xbox first party game. And we'll see if anything changes. I doubt it will, because this game is probably already multiple years into development. However, I think once some of these Call of Duty games that have already started development are over, we'll see if Xbox actually does anything and change the release cycle or whatever they decide to do with the content for Call of Duty. I personally think that they could release a Call of Duty game every 2 to 3 years rather than every year. But it looks like we're also going to be getting another yearly release here in 2024. And it looks like it's going to be Black Ops Gulf War. I love the Black Ops series. So whenever I hear that another Black Ops is coming out, I'm happy. Whenever I hear that there's a new Modern Warfare coming out, I'm happy. Those are my two favorite series in all of Call of Duty, which I think pretty much for most people that is the case, as those were the two most popular ones. But we have here exclusive from Windows Central. Again, Call of Duty 2024 is indeed Black Ops, set during the Gulf War. You can also call it Black Ops 6. And some of the information we have, it sounds really cool. I think they could do an amazing single player campaign with this setting. And I hope that it is a much deeper single player campaign than MW3. But here's what it says. According to multiple sources familiar with Activision's plans, Call of Duty 2024 will sport the Black Ops moniker and once again follow some of the West's more shadowy military dealings and global conflict scenarios. Black Ops 6 will take place during the Gulf War, which was the first major conflict between Saddam Hussein's Iraq and a coalition of US-led militaries. US President George Bush Sr. and UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher deployed troops alongside Egypt and Saudi Arabia into Iraq after the Hussein regime invaded Kuwait in what formed the largest coalition of military since World War II. I think this is very interesting. There's a lot of people in my age range that grew up through this. So I would love to see what they do here for a single player campaign. They also say here, it also charted a new era of heavily televised conflicts with Operation Desert Storm, becoming notorious for its live media coverage. The war also featured some of America's largest ever tank battles in an era before drone warfare. So lots of cool stuff that they can make a campaign out of. And I hope that they do knock it out of the park. Now, obviously with Black Ops, it's going to be traditional military combat. There won't be all of the futuristic gadget stuff that you do have in Modern Warfare, which maybe that's absolutely okay. And they also say, from what they've been told, Black Ops 6 will attempt to explore a nuanced narrative of the Gulf War with a critical focus on different participants within the conflict, and it will dovetail into end of the Cold War era and explore some of the consequences therein. They also say that apparently it will feature returning maps from the Black Ops franchise, including Grind and WMD. Now, this was shared on Twitter, and it was also shared via Inside Gaming, but Windows Central says that they haven't been fully able to corroborate this. So again, take this with a grain of salt. And they say that the game file leaks also point to round-based zombie modes returning, which I haven't played the current zombie modes in Modern Warfare 3 yet. I've just been absolutely hooked on the multiplayer. It's an open world style of zombie mode, so I don't have really an opinion whether I'm like super excited they're going back to the round-based modes, but I know traditionally I've really enjoyed the round-based modes of zombies, so I am kind of happy to hear that. So there it is. That's the content that we know potentially is going to be coming to this. And they also are mentioning that there will actually even be an even bigger, larger pre-order early access thing that they will be doing with this game, with several days for the base game and maybe even weeks for access to other modes. Call of Duty has been doing this with their early access with the campaign. I think that's actually a very good move because the reality is most people don't play Call of Duty for the campaign. It just sits there. And if you want people to check it out, release it before the multiplayer. Call of Duty fans will still pick up that more expensive version to get that early access and at least give that single player campaign a chance. Whereas if you're releasing it all at the same time, most people aren't going to even step foot into the campaign. So I think that's actually a good move what they do there. And it looks like they're going to be going back to that with even some bigger pre-order stuff. So that's the 2024 Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War. I think the setting will be very, very cool. And I hope that they don't mess this one up in terms of the campaign. Now let's talk about The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. When they announced this, there was a lot of, I guess people weren't shocked, but they were also like, why is this being released? This absolutely is not needed. Another Last of Us remaster out of all the ones that we've already gotten. It seems like it's the only thing PlayStation wants to release these days. And they announced that it was only going to be a $10 upgrade, which I don't think is a terrible thing. I actually don't think it's bad at all. $10 upgrade is, a lot of people are going to spend that $10 and get the PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 2. And now we have a bit more information here about some extra content that they are adding. I have to say, although I think this is really stupid that they are putting this out, I think people just looking at the price, it's not the point. The point is the wasted time Naughty Dog is putting out this instead of working on a brand new IP or a brand new game. I have to say for $10, they are adding a decent amount of stuff here that will be worth it for The Last of Us fans. So there will be a rogue-like mode and we'll have 12 levels. And this is according to the LinkedIn profile at a Naughty Dog QA tester. So this is what they say. It says they've created, implemented, and tested AI dialogue regions in engine across 12 different no return roguelike level layouts in The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. They also say they've created, modified, and tested rendered regions in engine by adjusting lighting levels to fit visual filter aesthetics throughout 135 tasks in The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered story mode. And they've tested and modified extraneous audio regions and adjusted pat tags on surfaces and objects throughout 12 different no return roguelike levels in The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. So that's pretty cool. 12 levels. It seems like a decent amount of content. And with those 12 levels, some of the other stuff you're getting for that $10 is going to be graphical improvements. Obviously, they say bringing beautiful yet dangerous world to life. You're going to be getting visual performance in 4K in the fidelity mode, improved loading times so you can obviously jump in faster, and full DualSense wireless controller integration, plus the no return, a roguelike survival mode. So For $10, I think it's actually worth it if you are a Last of Us fan. But again, I was really hoping Naughty Dog would be working on something different and something new. Finally, let's talk about this. Gears of War is losing their narrative director to Sony Santa Monica, who obviously we know them for God of War. So this is a big loss for Xbox, a big gain for Sony Santa Monica. Bonnie Jean Ma is swapping from Gears of War to God of War, announcing this on Twitter, saying, "All right, let's do this. I'm so excited to share my news. I've joined Sony Santa Monica as narrative director. I'm beyond thrilled to be working with this team and studio. Let's go." So that's a loss here for the coalition. I mean, Ma had many different roles working on different Gears IPs. It says here that originally had a background in film and TV, worked on Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, which is interesting because that is one of my favorite games on the Xbox 360. So, I'm already a big fan. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Millennium Online, worked on that as well. Then joined Black Tusk Studios, which is now known as the Coalition. And this was in 2014, where she became the franchise narrative manager of the Gears of War IP. And at the Coalition, this included narrative producer on Gears of War 4, narrative designer for Gears 5, before leaving to join Relic Entertainment, where she was the narrative and lead writer on Age of Empires 4. So a big amount of work at Xbox that she has done, and now going over to PlayStation, which it's funny because you have the PlayStation fanboys always saying that PlayStation has the best quality games. Well, I think Gears of War is on par with all of the quality games that PlayStation puts out. And you can see that PlayStation thinks that as well, as they have taken her from Xbox and brought her over to go ahead and work on the God of War franchise. I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.